Also send a recording. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. This is being recorded and we will send it out afterwards to all registrants and also will be shared in Interact for Health by monthly newsletter Health Watch. I am Lisa Myers, Program Director at Interact for Health for Youth Mental Health and Wellbeing, and I'm super excited to help host this webinar today. And I know Nikki will share more, but we've really been on a journey with Hey Cincinnati, with QR is here from Hey, and Heather also from Talbot House. And we really started this by listening to young people. We were asked by young adults and by youth to have more people that they could connect with to kind of navigate to resources, to find treatment during the treatment process, to have more support from people that they felt comfortable with that were closer to their age. So we have been pursuing this opportunity and this idea directly from young people. So I won't steal too much of Nikki's thunder because she has a lot to share. So it's my honor to introduce Nikki Boberg from Talbot House, who has been leading this effort over the past year. This is year two, and I'm super happy to welcome her. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you, Lisa. So we're here today to learn about the Greater Cincinnati Youth Mental Health Corps and what it means to be a host site. I appreciate you joining us to learn more about this. Today's session is designed to provide a clear overview of youth peer support, explain how the core model works, outline host site expectations, and help your organization determine whether this opportunity is the right fit for the youth and families that you serve. Our goal is to build strong, mission-aligned partnerships with organizations that are ready to create meaningful service opportunities, support young adults entering the behavioral health workforce, and expand access to near-peer mental health supports across the Greater Cincinnati. So we're going to talk a little bit about what youth peer support is. Youth peer support is a strength-based, non-clinical service in which young adults with lived experience use their recovery and resilience to support youth facing behavioral health, social, emotional, and life challenges. Through mentoring, advocacy, resource navigation, and guidance, youth peer support specialists help young people build resilience, strengthen self-advocacy, develop coaching strategies, access resources, and work towards self-identified goals. Youth peer support is designed to complement, not replace, clinical mental health treatment. A youth peer support specialist is typically a young adult between the ages of 18 and 29 who uses their lived experience to build connection and trust, provides peer-to-peer coaching and mentoring, helps youth navigate resources and services, supports that transition into adulthood, and encourages confidence, recovery-oriented goals, and self-advocacy. Services can take place in schools, homes, and community settings. And across each of these settings, the intent is the same: to meet youth where they are, offer support from someone who can relate to their experiences, and help them move towards stability, connection, and personal growth. This work matters greatly. Greater Cincinnati continues to face significant youth mental health needs, including concerns related to anxiety, isolation, and suicide. The Hayes Cincinnati Youth Mental Well-Being Needs Assessment identified a clear and consistent message from young people and their families. They want youth want support from peers who understand them. Many young people report that they are more comfortable discussing mental health concerns with peers than they are with adults. Youth with lived experience also expressed a desire to share their own stories and to support others. Youth peer support responds directly to that need by preparing young adults to serve as trusted, trained, near peer supporters who can help youth before concerns become more acute. As one local youth stated in the needs assessment, having that support system, having the upperclassmen and lowerclassmen all together in one room and sharing the same problems, being there for one another to say, I understand that. Here's how I dealt with that. Peer support models can strengthen connection, reduce stigma, increase referrals to care, and improve the likelihood that youth will seek help when they need it. By investing in youth peer support, host sites help advance upstream prevention while honoring the youth voice, lived experience, and leadership. The Youth Mental Health Corps is a national service initiative that addresses both the youth mental health crisis and the shortage of behavioral health professionals, launching in 2024. The model trains young adults ages 18 to 29 to serve as near peer mental health navigators in schools, community organizations, and health-related settings. Corps members provide non-clinical supports such as peer mentoring, wellness education, resource navigation, outreach, and connection to appropriate services. This approach is powerful because young people often benefit from support provided by someone who is close enough in age to understand the pressures, technology, social dynamics, and lived realities shaping their experiences. The core model benefits youth receiving support, but also helps build that next generation of behavioral health professionals. Members gain practical experience, credentials, professional connections, and exposure to career pathways in the field. For some young adults, this experience helps confirm whether behavioral health is the right long-term career direction before making major educational or financial commitments. The Greater Cincinnati Youth Mental Health Corps was developed in response to local needs identified through the Hey Cincinnati assessment and informed by the National Youth Mental Health Corps model. The program launched locally in September of 2025 and has helped position Greater Cincinnati as an early leader in implementing this approach. During the past year, Serve Ohio, which is the state's service commission for AmeriCorps, worked with a consultant group and Talbot House to support statewide planning and develop resources for other regions interested in implementing the core model. Greater Cincinnati's implementation provides a practical foundation for expanding youth peer support opportunities beyond our region. So you're here today to learn about what it means to be a host site. Host sites will support an AmeriCorps member serving as a youth peer support specialist for 900 hours of service from October 2026 through August of 2027. Successful host sites create service environments that are meaningful, structured, supervised, and aligned with the needs of the youth and families they serve. Although youth peer support may look different across organizations, each placement should provide purposeful service activities that clearly support the host site's population and mission. The members should be integrated into the team, understand their role and expectations, and receive the guidance needed to serve effectively and safely. So over the past year, we've been able to identify the 5 pillars of what makes a strong host site. The first is intentionality. Host sites provide meaningful service opportunities that allow members to use their training, lived experience, and skills in ways that benefit youth and families. The second is belonging. Members are welcomed as part of the team. They're not treated as guests or temporary add-ons. They are not treated as interns. They are included in appropriate team communication, collaboration, and support structures. Next is consistency. Host sites provide clear expectations related to schedule, service activities, supervision, timesheets, data collection, and any site-specific protocols. Next is authenticity. Host sites model respectful, genuine, and recovery-oriented engagement that allow members to show up professionally while remaining connected to the value of their lived experience. And then finally, communication and psychological safety. Host sites maintain clear, proactive communication and create an environment where members can ask questions, receive feedback, raise concerns, and share observations appropriately. where their voice is heard. Host sites are responsible for a lot. Host sites are responsible for providing sufficient and meaningful service activities, averaging approximately 20 to 22 hours a week in a supervised and safe environment. Each host site must identify a primary supervisor and an alternate supervisor. Supervisors oversee service activities, provide regular check-ins, approve timesheets, and communicate concerns to the Greater Cincinnati Youth Mental Health Board program leadership in a timely manner, but also work with leadership to resolve these concerns. Host sites provide in-kind support and operational resources needed for the member to perform their role. This may include site-specific onboarding, training, workspace, technology, equipment, and any other tools required for their service activities. Host sites should develop a clear onboarding plan before placement begins. This includes identifying access needs such as, do they need a badge? What is your site orientation? Do they need background checks? Do they need technology access, and what does that look like? And any policies or procedures that the members must understand. Finally, host sites will participate in check-ins and site visits with the Greater Cincinnati Youth Mental Health Corps leadership throughout the program year to support quality implementation, address needs, and maintain alignment. The cost to host an AmeriCorps member is $2,500 per member. The host site fee helps support the infrastructure needed to recruit, train, place, supervise, and support members throughout the program year. It also helps ensure that members and host sites receive appropriate program oversight, coaching, compliance support, and ongoing coordination. It is an investment, but it's a worthy one. I also want to note that for agencies set up for Medicaid billing, peer support is a Medicaid billable service. And if this is something that you're interested in, we can absolutely have further conversation about that. So there's a lot of responsibilities and expectations for host sites, but what are the benefits? Becoming a host site allows organizations to strengthen support for the youth they serve by adding a trained, near-peer supporter with lived experience. This role can help youth feel understood, build trust, access resources, strengthen self-advocacy, and engage more fully in their own goals. Host sites also help build the behavioral health workforce pipeline. As the field continues to face workforce shortages, the core model gives young adults a structured opportunity to explore behavioral health careers, gain experience, develop professional skills and certifications, and connect with mentors already working in the field. Current host sites have described youth peer support specialists as valuable additions to their organization, noting that members bring lived experience, reliability, perspective, and meaningful support to youth and families and staff. Their presence can expand organizational capacity while helping services become more responsive and impactful. We asked our current host sites if you could tell a prospective host site anything about joining the program, what would you say? One said peer support specialists add value to host sites. They bring so much support to clients and are very punctual and hardworking. Another, this is a great partnership that will add so much to your organization. Having the youth peer support specialist voice and expertise has helped improve our organization. And finally, hosting an AmeriCorps peer support member was an incredible asset. Their lived experience built trust in with youth and families and strengthened partnerships across our region. I can share the structure and benefits of the model, but it's often more meaningful to hear directly from partners who have experienced it. Maria, are you on?
I am.
Excellent. I apologize. I wanted to make sure before I introduced you. I would like to introduce Dr. Maria Piombo, Director of the Child and Family Treatment Center at Central Clinic Behavioral Health, who can speak to the host site experience from the perspective of a current partner. And give me a moment to stop sharing. Thank you, Maria.
Sure. Yeah, and I'll welcome any questions if that's okay. Also, if anybody has any particular questions. So we embarked on this adventure, on this journey, this past fall, and we had our youth peer support worker in one of our schools. So I'm the director of the Child and Family Treatment Center at Central Clinic Behavioral Health, and we provide mental health services to children and youth. I should have probably started with that. Um, One of the things that we do is also provide a lot of mental health services in schools in the greater Cincinnati area. So we thought that the best fit for us would be to have a youth peer support worker in the schools to be able to provide more wraparound services for the youth that we serve in the schools where we are providing clinical services in case management and sometimes group services and some wraparound services. So we had our youth peer support worker embedded into the school. So it was a wonderful experience, and I would certainly recommend it for anybody who is in the behavioral health world working with children and youth. It provided an extra layer of support for youth in the high school, middle school, high school that she was in. We received great feedback from the high school school staff. Um, Certainly for us, we had never provided peer support services before, so it was a high learning curve. I would say that you're in that journey together with your youth peer support worker and learning together what works and what doesn't work. Um, the feedback that we have received from the school and from the students has been wonderful. Our central clinic staff who are also in that school had wonderful feedback as well. It helped not only the youth in being able to provide that extra layer of support, but also for sometimes mental health staff that are feel like they're being pulled in a variety of different directions, and it can be very, very stressful. Um, so I think with, support from Talbert House, the training that the individuals are receiving, whenever I had a question is, okay, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Is this okay? Is this not okay? You learn as you go, and getting that support from Talbert House was what kind of made this work for us because I had no idea what I was doing when I started out. And I'm at the place where we want to do this again. So I would highly recommend it for any agency who has any interest, not to be afraid of trying it, because I was a little nervous and a little skeptical. And I'm really glad that we kind of dove in and did what we did, because here I am a year later and we would like to continue with this work. I mean, as we know, in our region, there's such a need for more services for children and youth, and not just services that we typically provide, but services that they need, that they want, and really being able to hear their voice. And this was something that came out of a larger regional effort, is youth wanting to have their voice heard. And so we're happy to be able to help in some of those ways to better meet the needs of our youth in our community.
Thank you so much for that, Maria. And
Sure.
to be fair, we didn't know what we were doing either. I appreciate our host sites over the past year who learned with us through this process. We know a lot more going into the next year, but we still have a lot to learn still, and we want to be able to learn with you. Excellent. It appears that our youth peer support specialist is running a little bit behind. Grace, can you see if she is in the lobby?
She just jumped on.
She just jumped on.
There she is. She's ready. She's smiling.
Excellent. Hello, my dear. I would love to introduce to you Yane Hobbs, who is a youth peer support specialist currently placed at Found Village.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little late to the party. Yes, as Nicole said, I'm currently at Found Village, and I recently just became a peer support going throughout this program, and I just wanted to share a couple things on why I think it's important and why I personally like it. Well, one is a lot of times people, don't really know they need support until they're given that. And I feel like support looks different for everybody. And while some it may come from a worker, some it may come from a program, or some it may just come from a person who's went through something similar to your experience. I feel like it's a different type of support when you're getting it from someone who's not only telling you that you can get through stuff, but has gone through it and gone through it themselves. So it gives you a different type of hope to look forward to. And as someone who is on the opposite side of that spectrum, being able to give that back and use your shortcomings and your hard times as a strength or as a catalyst for someone else to get through their problems, it gives you just a different type of feeling of being understood, a different type of feeling of helping coordinate or take a person to that next level. You just never know how what your story or what you may say may affect the next person. And I've seen that in real time. I've seen youth that I'm working with overcome things such as speaking up for themselves or joining more program organizations or becoming more involved into their community. So I really think it's like a full circle effect because once you pour into that youth and you're able to, help them go through what they're going through, they look at their story like, okay, well, this is something now that I could do and I can help someone who may be struggling who I know, and it keeps going so on and so forth. So, if you're thinking about whether or not this is a perfect fit for where you're at your whole site, don't think, because it is. It really is. It is truly making change that, again, doesn't come from a book, doesn't come from a title, doesn't come from a job description. It comes from real life. And at the end of the day, real recognizes real. So that's all I have to say about that part.
Yeah, I absolutely could never have come close to saying anything like that. Yana, you are amazing. We thank you so much for being here, for sharing your experience, and for being a part of our core. You are cohort 1.0. She is an OG to the cohort. No, we appreciate you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And back to the daily hustle and bustle. I'm actually at my placement now, so we're actually transitioning. Where I'm here with my adult youth lab. So we're focusing on career, we're focused on school, we're focused on getting to that next level. So thanks for having me again. I'm Yane Say, and I hope to maybe connect with some of you all later in life and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yane, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
I'm curious, could you tell us just a little bit about like, were you interested in this type of work before you found this role? And then has it changed your perspective kind of on your future career plans, having had this experience?
I'm gonna say yes and no. No, because a role like this just started to exist. I never knew that it was a role even like this where I didn't have to get a fancy certification or fancy title. I mean, because you do got to get certified, but it's a different type of certification. Like, I don't have to go through classes that somebody else made up to say, okay, now you're ready for this. It took the biggest teacher, which I feel like, which is experience. It's where you can take your real life experience to be able to help someone else. So have I always been interested in pouring back into, youth specifically who I work with, former and current foster youth? Yes, because I navigated that system and I didn't have someone like me being able to just tell me, okay, you need to do this, but walk with me throughout this process. So I've always been passionate and determined about, helping and giving that type of feedback. But it wasn't until I got into this role to actually know, okay, I can start doing this now. I don't have to wait till I get my undergrad. I don't have to wait till I go get a master's degree or doing all that. I can start using what I've been through, what I've gone through, that real life experience, and be able to pour back into that. So it actually has made me even more motivated. I've connected with even more people, organizations. I've gotten opportunity to visit different grad schools and learn about their different organizations, whether that's through nonprofit leadership or social work or getting into that aspect. It's just becoming very like connecting for me because I'm able to network in many other different realms and sit in many other different rooms that I wasn't able to sit in before.
Thank you so much.
Yes, no problem. All right, y'all. I have to get back to it. So I'll see y'all. Y'all have a beautiful, great day. And if there anybody who have any more questions or would like to hear more, I'm sure Miss Nikki or Heather can connect y'all with my contact, and I would be glad to speak about it.
We thank you greatly.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Good job.
I cannot come close to sharing that perspective in any way, shape, or form. Oh, let's go. Let's see, is this gonna work? That is not what you guys want. That is not what you guys want. I apologize. I should not be in charge of technology. That is what you guys want. Is that the correct screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So, as Janae said, don't think, just do. Are you ready to become a Greater Cincinnati Youth Mental Health Corps host site? If so, 5 very easy steps. The first one is email me. My email is on the next slide as well. Email me and let me know you are interested. From there, we will send you a brief questionnaire about your organization, the potential opportunity, your target population, just some things so that we can get to know you and what that looks like. From there, we go to a readiness assessment. We'll meet with you, kind of talk through, make sure you're ready, make sure that foundation is there. We want to make this a great opportunity for both the member and the organization. Once the readiness assessment is completed and all of those boxes are checked and the plan is in place, organizations will receive the 2026-27 host site agreement for review and signature. That agreement just outlines expectations of both the host site and of Talbert House. And then finally, once that is signed, we can begin interviews and the matching process. If you are sitting here listening to this and you say, I'm not sure we are ready yet, we're very interested but may not be ready, never fear. Future opportunities will likely be available, and we are happy to answer any questions and help you determine what readiness could look like for your site. With that said, thank you for considering partnership with the Greater Cincinnati Youth Mental Health Corps. Host sites play a critical role in expanding access to youth peer support, strengthening these prevention efforts, and helping prepare that next generation for the behavioral health professionals. We welcome your questions and look forward to discussing how this model may align with your organization's work.
So I'm gonna tee up a question for you. There was a question regarding if supervisors have to have clinical background or licensure to be a host site supervisor in this context.
That is a great question, and the answer is no. There is a 16-hour peer support supervisor training that we will ask that supervisors take to understand supervising a youth peer support specialist is not the same as supervising a clinician. They're very different, have different needs, and we want to make sure that you are set up for success, but you do not have to have that clinical background.
And another couple questions around what the day-to-day can look like and how placements manage ebbs and flows in demands for their services and what's kind of available.
So what the day-to-day looks like, honestly, is different for each organization. Peer support can look different for each organization, and what that day-to-day looks like is different. What we ask is, Do you have small group opportunities for them to co-lead some groups on, some social emotional regularity, helping understand how to navigate through some of the systems? Do you work with youth and they would carry a small caseload of working individually with youth that are, in between trying to navigate adulthood? Let's be real, adulthood is hard. And trying to navigate that for especially for, older youth, high school students, college students, it's hard. So who does your population serve and what does that look like? Really is a conversation that we can continue to have. It's how they can best serve your population, your youth, and your families.
And I want to add on to that also to introduce myself. I'm Heather Lowe. I've also been part of this program for the first year. Another element of the program for the members and the youth peer supporters is also professional development, career exploration, those pieces. So if there were times where there really is an ebb, there's some difficulty meeting those hours, looking for opportunities in those areas can also be huge. And I will say this year, we have had members come up with ideas for what is really creative, useful, beneficial ways to spend their time too when there are those lulls. So you might also have a member say, well, what if I made these materials? Or how about this? And come to you with things to fill that time because they have great perspective and ideas for what else they can do to enrich their experience.
Absolutely. And training is part of this experience. No more than 20% of their 900 hours can be spent in training. But if you do the math, that's a lot of hours. So a member can come to you and say, hey, I'm really interested in X. Let's see if we can connect them to a professional in the field or training that they can attend to learn more.
And then the final question that was in the chat, second to final now, is if there's a deadline to submit interest to be a host site.
So the deadline to submit interest would be end of August. We really want to make sure we have host sites ready. The goal is to have members at their host sites ready to go, fully trained by the first week of October. And I just saw the question pop up about what training does Talbot House provide? A whole lot. So members go through before they are sent to the host sites. They do onboarding with Talbot House, which is HIPAA compliance, boundaries, continuity of care, kind of that foundation. They also go through 40 hours in-person youth peer support certification training. There is an additional 16 hours of online learning for their youth peer support certification. The goal is to have them have their certification prior to going to the host sites. Unfortunately, we learned this year there are some hiccups with that process. Hopefully things have gotten better with that, but the goal is to have them have that certificate in hand, that foundation. We also throughout the year provide youth mental health first aid training as well as QRP. And for those who don't know, QRP
QPR, question, persuade, refer.
I always say it wrong. Say it again.
QPR, question, persuade, refer.
It is a training to be able to respond appropriately to suicidality for the layperson.
The members also use the Relias platform to go through some of those foundational trainings. I know this year we had some host sites who also use that for additional training, so they would come in familiar with how to navigate that system.
This is Ruby Castilla, and I would like to congratulate. This is a fantastic program, and I do have a couple of interns that I have in Warmi Mental Health that probably they are interested in this as well. One piece that I learned from the interns a couple of years, we have been with 6, 7 interns, is that they want to keep their academic career, or they want to produce something related with a publication, an abstract for a poster presentation in a meeting, something that they can keep in the CV other than the experience in the intern. Do you have that? If not, I will be happy to offer you that, because I am a psychiatrist by training, and I can connect them with different areas. It's just to I am interested in to provide some names also. I will promote this in my interns, but I definitely wanted to offer the possibility to connect with academic institutions, with people in the American Psychiatric Association, American Psychological Association, different associations, national, at the national level, in order that they can connect with other people and they can use what they learn to discuss with other people in the same area. With meetings, in the meetings, we prepare them for an oral presentation, for a poster presentation. We try to guide them in order that they can deliver these things that they learn. I don't know if you have that piece, but I will be happy to offer that for the interns.
So we do not have that piece, but we will be in touch.
Okay, I
Please
will say.
email me and let me know. I would love to have further conversation with you about that.
Nikki, I don't have your email in the chat. Do you have your email in the chat?
Heather, can you put my email in the chat?
Yes, please. Thank you. I will contact you, because I will be happy to support. It's a fantastic program. I think that this is one piece that is good for them to build their CV, and they can add something extra. Thank
I
you.
love that. And you bring up a really good point. If you are currently working with young people that would qualify to be a youth peer support specialist, that you think this would be a great opportunity, we can also send out the link for them to apply. We are looking for additional youth peer support specialists for AmeriCorps members this year. So please let us know. We will make sure you guys have that link. Would love to be able to bring them on and help give and help have them help us with this opportunity. What other questions do you have?
I'm sorry. Did you send the link? I do have a couple of interns that probably they are interested. They are in the area. They are interested in to apply. Do you mind to send the link?
I just put it in the chat, and it can be sent in the follow-up email as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hede. Thank you. Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do have a question. I'm not sure if you saw it in the chat. But it was, what's one recurring piece of feedback you received from host sites, and what changes have you made as a result?
So I will start with kind of our very beginning. We told the peer support specialist from the beginning, we are building this plane as we're flying. And I don't think we did a good job communicating that to host sites. So there was a lot of, for anyone who has worked with AmeriCorps, they are a fantastic organization, but they release information just a little at a time. And so unfortunately, we had some, hey, we have this. Nope, we got to change and do this. Nope, we've got to change and do this. And again, I think we were very focused on the peer support specialist and our members, not so much communicating effectively with the host sites. That is definitely an area that we will be improving this year and have a plan for that. The other piece is last year, we did not have a readiness assessment for host sites. And we learned a lot of what was missed from the beginning. And we want to make sure that host sites are as prepared as possible. So we have a readiness assessment. We have that kind of laid out. It's almost a checklist. Yes, I have this. Yes, I have that. To be able to have that foundation built. And then finally, I would say one of our biggest challenges was just, again, the ongoing communication piece, being able to check in more with, are there concerns? How can we help mitigate these concerns or address them in a very timely manner? So definitely just more focused on communication and more collaboration this year as we at least know a little bit more than we did last year.
I have a question.
Yes,
As a new organization, and if I wanted to become a host site but don't have the funds as of right now, would there be a payment plan option?
absolutely. Just put that in the email when you express interest, and we can have further conversation about what that can look like.
Hey, Nikki, this is Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi. Sorry for all the questions. Um, what's the age? I might have missed it in the very beginning. What's the age that the youth peer supporters are supporting, the age of the peers, I guess, that they're supporting?
Absolutely. So our host sites really, the ages range from about 12 through 21. So not so young, but still on the younger side of entering teenage years and what that looks like through kind of that 21, 22, where they then transition more into the youth serve or the adult serving peer support.
Okay, thank you.
What else?
Could you say again the deadlines to apply to be a host site and then also the deadline to apply for youth to be a peer supporter?
Absolutely. I will say both deadlines we're going to set as well. Deadline to apply express interest for a host site, August 31st. That gives us the month of September to kind of work through. Deadline for peer supporters, August 14th. It will be a rolling probably through that, but we really encourage them to apply as soon as possible. There is a lot that has to happen for background checks and AmeriCorps requirements and Talbot House requirements, all the things, with the goal of them starting on September 11th.
And Nikki, could you remind the group how many youth peer supporters we are hoping to hire and sites we're hoping to find?
Absolutely. I did not mention that. So this year we are expanding to 30 youth peer support specialists. I believe we have 9 or 10 from year 1 that will be continuing into year 2. So we're looking to hire a good 20 youth peer support specialists, and also as many host sites. Right now, most of our host sites only have 1 youth peer support specialist, and we really want to be able to spread this opportunity to as many organizations as humanly possible. So the goal is 30 host sites with 30 youth peer support specialists.
How many host sites are coming back from last year? Do you know yet?
So far, of the 10 that have responded to my inquiry, every single one has said, yes, please, we want to come back.
That's a good sign.
That is a very good sign. I just checked a few minutes ago before we logged on to see if I had gotten any more responses. But 100% have said we want to do this again.
Hey, Nikki.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How many applications do you currently have
Oof.
for the peer-to-peer support positions?
I don't know the answer to that. I
Okay.
know we are currently interviewing. We had 2 interviews today. One accepted on the spot, which I'm super excited about. Um, I don't know the answer to that. I can get back
Okay.
to you and know.
Okay.
Um, I don't want to touch what is going on with my big screen to be able to look that information up because I don't want to screw anything up.
Yeah, the reason why, just so that people can have an idea of continuing to help push this out and get it into as many hands as possible, especially with the 8/14 deadline approaching.
Absolutely.
And I can say that there have been 3 new folks who have accepted and are moving forward out of the 20 that are needed. So we definitely still want more.
Yeah. Let me see if I can log in real quick.
Any other questions for Nikki as we're kind of wrapping up with these final details? Great.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the time. And I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you as a potential host site.
Thank you, Nikki. Thanks, everyone.